everybody, Laura here. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about adding color to your cover plates, and this is a really fun way to get more mileage and just try something different. Here's some cover plates I just pulled out. This one here I used in last month's release. It's the Garden Guild cover plates from the Make It Market mini kit, and you can see here I added Copic coloring to it. Turned out beautiful, and it really got me thinking, you know what? I'm going to pull out my cover plates that I've been ignoring and I'm going to try this, and it's really exciting. Kind of gives me a fresh outlook on my cover plate. So this one here is called the Peony cover plate, and you can see the colors. I'm using my Copic markers. I've got the caps up in the top right corner. You can see it's R30, R32, and R35, and I sped this up, but you can still see what I'm doing. I'm going round and round using all three colors, and I try to blend them. And these three here, they blend just effortlessly. I start with the lightest, the R30, then I go in with the darkest on the edge, then I blend in with my mid-tone, and then I smooth it all out with my R30 again. And there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of going with my gut where I want to add darks and lights, just trying to give it a little variation and interest. Once I get all the rosy colors finished, I'm going to go in with green and add some color to the leaf part of the cover plate die. You can see again the caps of my markers up in the top here. These are my favorite green Copic markers to use all the time. I just kind of gravitate towards these colors, and they blend really easily, and I think it turned out really great. Most of the time when I'm using cover plates, I just end up laying it over pattern paper, or I watercolor behind it, or ink blend behind it, but adding color actually to it just gives it a fresh face, a new outlook. It's something fun to try, gives you a little more mileage, because cover plates are not cheap. So you want to try everything you can to squeeze every bit of energy out of these cover plates that you can. Now, for the card base behind it, I am going to add just a bit of subtle shading on the bottom and on the top. I'm starting with Berry Sorbet, and this really adds a little interest. Instead of just adhering the cover plate onto a flat white card base, this really spices it up and it looks really gorgeous. You'll see when I lay the peony die cut over top how beautiful it looks. It's nice and subtle, a little bit ombre, so pretty. So I thought I'd do a little on the top as well, little limeade ice coming down onto the leaf area of the die cut. And I love, love, love ink blending. I'm all about ink blending. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the paper tray inks blend like butter. And they're some of my favorite colors. The paper tray inks are some of my favorite colors in all the land of ink pads. I just adore limeade ice and berry sorbet. And so we're at a little Tombow mono on the back side, gluing this down onto the card base, and then we will move on to adding a sentiment. I've got a piece of black cardstock, rubbing it down with my little embossing powder bag. We're going to emboss a sentiment. This is from the new stamp set, Scripted, just came out in the June release. Absolutely gorgeous stamp set. I love the sentiment choices, and I love the font, beautiful font. This one says, "Just Because." I'm going to pour a little white embossing powder over top of that, and then I'll go ahead and take it, hit it with my heat gun off camera. I'll come back. I'm adding trimming a little fishtail on the end of the one side, and then I'll add a little foam tape, pop that up, and we're good to go. I thought this would really pop, having a black piece of cardstock with a white embossed sentiment pop off of this. We got a lot of color going on with the card, and when I do a lot of color, I like to keep my sentiment black and white. I added a few sparkling clear sequins by Pretty Pink Posh to finish it off, and bada boom, bada bing, we're done. We're moving on. One more card I want to show you, because I want to show you one other option that you can use to color your cover plates, and this is fun, fun, fun. I am using, now, by the way, this is the In the Woods die cut, and I die cut it onto some Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock. I'm going to be using one of these Zig. I call them my Zigga Zigga Ziggies. It's the Carmine Red color. Now, this is fun. This is fun. Copic coloring is fun, but this is even funner, I got to say. So I got a water brush, and you go in, you add a little bit of the Zig, the Ziggy, 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 and then you take your water brush and you drag it out. It's so simple. I recommend doing this on watercolor cardstock. I'm not saying it wouldn't work on Stamper Select White or good white cardstock. It might, but it just works tremendously well and blends so effortlessly on watercolor cardstock. Look at that. Such a bright, vibrant red, and it blends into this soft, subtle pink. I just love it. I love playing with these Ziggies. Why call them Zig Clean Color Marker when you can call it Ziggy? I mean, that's so much better. Now, you got to give these Ziggies a try. And I know this die cut is called In the Woods. And so I know I'm being very untraditional. This is not anything close to Into the Woods looking. But I was thinking, now go with me here. Does this not kind of remind you of like a coral reef or maybe even a cherry blossom tree? Something like that? That's what I'm going for. That's because I just love that carmine red. And I thought, you don't have to be all woodsy all the time. You can just, if you want to go red and pink, go red and pink. So that's what I'm doing. Now I sped this up and you can see how this went really fast. This was really easy to color. Now I thought I'm going to do a little ink blending behind because it really spices it up. So I thought I'm going to do a little Hawaiian shores. Since I was going with the coral reef kind of feel, I thought I'd do a little Hawaiian shores. Now it wasn't, I want to get a little more intensity, so I add a little bit of tropical teal, and that gave me just the amount of darkness that I wanted. It gave this gorgeous ombre into the light Hawaiian shores. It's going to look beautiful behind my little coral reef or Japanese cherry blossom. I'm not sure what that is, but whatever it is, I love it. I'll glue that on top. I'll use my Tombow Mono just like I did on the first card and adhere that down. Then all we have to do now is add our sentiment. This is from the Garden Guild stamp set that is from last month's Make It Market mini kit. Has beautiful sentiments. Once we get that all finished, I'm going to add a few little dots with my glossy accents, and these dry clear. They're kind of like those rainstones. This is the cheap man's version of rainstones. So pull out those cover plates, see what you have, and color them. Have fun with it. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.